Okay, hello again. I'm Jay Haley from Palmore Institute, and in this video, we'll be using this for our senior level speaking class. This is for unit number 4, and this is the second video in the series. In the first video, we introduced the situation and some of the vocabulary, but this unit is called Getting Ahead. It involves education, family relationships, and culture. And there was a situation that we introduced, and let me just repeat the situation so that you know what's going on. So, the situation is this: Wei's mother is worried that Wei is not doing very well in junior high school. She's thinking of making a change. She wants him to drop his extracurricular activities and enroll 5 nights a week in a cram school. Once again this week, I've got a special guest to join me to talk about this situation and give our own ideas and perspectives. So sit down, listen to our conversation. Afterward, I'll be back again with some feedback about what we said and how you can use it. Don't forget also, these conversations are really a great way to get a little extra listening practice, because I know we don't have the opportunity to do listening as such in these videos. So this will be a really good substitute for you. Listen to it, see how much you can catch, and don't forget, you can always turn on the subtitles to double check your understanding. But sit down, relax, enjoy my conversation with Grant Butcher. Here it is. Joining me now is Grant Butcher from also from Palmore. If you're a student at Palmore, you'll know Grant. How you doing, Grant?
Pretty good, thanks.
Yeah, good to hear. I hope being at home all the time's not too much stress on you.
It's a bit boring at times, but yeah,
I know
can't be
what.
helped. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen. I told you about Wei's situation and what his mother wants to do, and Um, I was just wondering, what do you think? What do you think about Wei's mother's idea to have him drop all his extracurricular activities like soccer and focus exclusively on studying at a cram school 5 nights a week?
Well, I think personally the study is important, but it shouldn't domineer everything. Sports and health are also important.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When I was younger, I used to do judo and karate and boxing, and I could fit these in on the weekends. And I used to go up to Crystal Palace in London to national squad training meets.
Yeah.
So I was in the British team.
Yeah. You were
And
pretty good at judo, weren't you?
yeah, I was fifth in the whole country in my
Wow.
weight group. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Um, how like what did you get out of judo
Uh,
personally?
uh,
Development.
well, martial arts and any kind of contact sports teach you mental discipline,
Mm.
and it teaches you not to use them except outside of the sporting event.
Yeah.
And
Was that frustrating for you?
no, 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 it's
Knowing all the
because
skills, like having these skills and then you can't use them?
yeah, but it can be dangerous. You could potentially kill someone if you do use them outside
Yeah.
of like a, an area where you're being like taught by an instructor and they know what's going on and stuff. And concrete's hard. If you fall on that, you can crack your head pretty easy.
Okay. Well, if I ever start judo, I'll remember not to use it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a self-defense sport anyway. So,
Yeah. Wow, that's great. So you're definitely glad you did judo.
oh, absolutely, yeah. I got a lot out of it. After I came back from the training camps, I used to go around the eastern area judo clubs and
Yeah.
pass on and train the other kids about what I'd learned
Oh wow.
at the national squad training sessions.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
How old were you when you were doing this?
I started when I was about 6,
Oh wow.
and I continued up until I was about 20.
Wow. Do you remember why you chose judo?
I do actually. It was from a martial art TV series with David Carradine, Kung
Kung
Fu.
Fu.
Yeah, and
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
I watched it when I was a kid. Yeah.
and I just got on my dad. I want to do karate. I want to do karate. But in my hometown, there wasn't a karate club, but there was a judo club. So that was the
Oh,
next best thing. So I started doing judo, and then later karate club opened up as well. So I started doing both. And for stamina training, I used to jog every morning around the park. And I also joined a boxing club.
yeah. Yeah, the health aspect is another important thing I think with sports where, you do underestimate how important that is for kids because they always seem healthy for the most part. But yeah, especially uh, with today's lifestyles, it's important for kids to get out and get some exercise.
Yeah, social interaction was important too. I mean, I got to make a lot of new
Yeah,
friends and meet new people.
it's a
And
huge part of sports. Yeah,
yeah, you
yeah.
can't do that if you're just studying all the time.
No, no, yeah, yeah. You're right. Well, thanks a lot for joining me for this interview, and stay safe, stay well, and kids, if you're out there, get your exercise, do some sports. All right, thanks again, Grant.
Okay, thank you, Jay. Have a good
All
one.
right, yep, yeah, you too. Thanks. Okay, now it's time for a little feedback. Exclusively. What do you think about Way's mother's idea to have him drop all his extracurricular activities like soccer and focus exclusively on studying at a cram school 5 nights a week? Exclusively. Now, if you were listening really carefully in the last video, the video introducing this conversation, I actually used this word in that video as well. So it must be a pretty common word or useful word for this situation. Exclusively means only or just. So to focus on something exclusively means you're going to focus only on that or focus just on that. In this conversation, or in the conversation in the textbook, rather, Way's mother would like him to focus exclusively on his academics. Okay. You might wonder about the difference between exclusively and words like only or just. You might be able to guess it just by comparing the length of the words, but exclusively is just a slightly more formal way to say only or just. And very often in English, words with similar meanings, you can look at the length of the word. And very often, the longer word is the more formal one. Now, that's not always true, but it's true pretty often. So, exclusively, just a more formal way to say only or just. Domineer.
Well, I think personally the study is important, but it shouldn't domineer everything. Sports and health are also important.
Okay. Now, Grant is saying that academics shouldn't domineer everything. It's a really interesting word, domineer. You might see that it is similar to the word dominate. In fact, I've used dominate in the definition here. Domineer means to dominate in a truly excessive way. It's just something is too powerful that it just pushes out or drowns out everything else and really has this controlling, too much controlling aspect. You could use it in cooking, where perhaps one flavor, one spice has been used too much in a dish and you just can't taste anything else, only the garlic, for example. Well, the garlic is domineering the dish. But most often, we use domineer in human relationships. There are some classic examples of domineering types. They often are, the typical image will be a domineering mother, the mother who just controls too much. You can have a domineering boss. You can have a domineering mother in law very often. Again, they're just too powerful, too controlling, and in a bad way. Fit something in. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was younger, I used to do judo, and karate and boxing, and I could fit these in on the weekends. And
Okay, to fit in, this is one of those two-word verbs. These are always good to pay special attention to. So when we talk about fitting something in, it just means making time for something in your schedule. Now, your schedule might be kind of tight. It sounds like Grant is saying here that his weekday schedule was pretty busy, probably with school and all the usual kid stuff. That he was able to fit in his extracurricular activities in on weekends. And so fitting something in, again, just squeezing it into your schedule. Very commonly used in business English. If you want to fit someone into your schedule for a meeting, we would use it in exactly that way. In the team.
so I was in the British team.
Yeah, you. Okay, this is a pretty common example of a British English and American English difference. It's a small one, but it's an interesting one. So let's look at it. In the team. In the team tends to be British English, whereas in America, we would say, I am on the team. Okay, I am in the team or I am on the team. Which one is best? Well, neither one really. They're both fine. They're both examples of natural English. It would not be confusing to a native speaker if you used in or on. We would be able to imagine what your meaning is, even if we didn't know the British way of saying or the American way of saying it. That said, maybe you have a preference. Maybe you would like to speak in a more British way. In that case, use in the team. And if you prefer to speak in a more American way, you can use on the team. Again, both are totally correct. You have enough to worry about with prepositions in English. It's a difficult point. But here, at least, you don't have to worry so much because two prepositions are correct for describing being a member of a team. Okay, to get something out of something. What did you get out of judo? Okay, here I ask that question, what did you get out of judo? And really the meaning of get out of is very often in this pattern where you get something out of something else. So it means that you're gaining some benefit, receiving some benefit from something. So you're getting the benefit out of the action or the activity. Here, it's the benefits that you get out of judo, get benefits out of doing martial arts or doing judo. Okay, we'll see this one again. Discipline.
Well, martial arts and any kind of contact sports teach you mental discipline, and it teaches you not to use them except outside of the sporting event.
Okay, here Grant's talking about mental discipline. When we talk about discipline, it's a word that has a few different meanings, and they're kind of both equally common. So it's good to know both. The one that Grant's talking about here is really it's the ability to control oneself. When he talks about mental discipline, he means controlling his own mind, controlling his emotions, controlling his thinking. We often use another phrase like self-discipline. Self-discipline is, again, controlling yourself, controlling your desire. If you want to go on a diet, quit smoking, lose weight, start exercising, study English, you will need a little bit of self-discipline because sometimes it's not easy and you have to push yourself to keep going toward your goal. So keep up your discipline, your mental, your self-discipline as you study English. Two words here. First, absolutely. Second, get something out of something. So you're definitely glad you did judo.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I got a lot out of it.
Okay, let's talk first about absolutely. Absolutely is just a different way to say yes. But it's a good reminder from a couple weeks ago where I advised you to use your adverbs to sound more human, because absolutely it's a strong yes. It's a more emotional yes. The word yes, in this case would have kind of been boring, and not had a lot of feeling with it. But if you really agree, if you really agree with someone, this is a great word to use. Absolutely. Okay. The second one here, get a lot out of sports. This one again, we saw just a couple minutes ago when we were talking about what did you get out of judo. Okay, again, it just means gain some benefit. Okay, to get on someone.
And I just got on my dad. I want to do karate. I want to do karate. But in my hometown, there wasn't a karate club.
Okay, here Grant said I got on my dad. And to get on someone just means to consistently try to convince them to do something, or take some action. Okay, you don't give up. You keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. Okay, again and again and again. That's what it means to get on someone. So hopefully, as classes resume and you'll be doing some homework, please don't make me get on you about your homework. Just do it and keep up. Okay. The health aspect.
Yeah. Yeah, the health aspect is another important thing, I think, with sports, where you do underestimate how important that is for kids.
And when we talk about an aspect, we're talking about one particular side of an issue. We spent a lot of time talking about sports, and we talked about developing relationships, developing self-discipline, developing skills and interests. But we didn't talk as much until the end about health. And that was one aspect, one point of health that we discuss in the end. Okay. So sports have many different aspects, many different sides. Again, building relationships, developing interest, developing a hobby, developing self-discipline, and also here, developing a healthy body. So each of these are aspects or sides of participating in sports. Okay. Thank you very much for joining us again. That's it for this week's video. Next time, we'll be moving on to the same, not the same one, but the next one. That'll be unit number 5 out of your textbooks. I look forward to seeing you then. At home, again, if you have the book, you can go ahead and prepare that unit. If not, if you don't have the book yet, head on to Amazon.com, perhaps to order it, or you can request a copy from Palmore, and we may be able to send them to you. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.